Hi, it's Gus here. I'm doing a experiment and giving a little commentary based on what I know of the stop motion industry, living in the UK and having, talked to people who've worked on these kind of films, and we're having worked on films myself and commercials in stop motion. I thought I'd give a bit of a commentary on my thoughts on the animation. I love these kind of videos when I hear other people in industry talk about CG or 2D traditional. Haven't seen many in stop motion, so I thought, hey, why don't I be, one of the few that do. There are a few that do, but unfortunately not really enough. But I enjoy them enough to think, might as well give back to YouTube and produce some stuff myself. So we'll make a start here. Again, this is A Grand Day Out. This is by Nick Park. He started this film, I believe, at National Film and Television School. Is it NFTS? And that's down in near London. So I've been to those studios. I've thought about doing the same course he went on. So it's kind of cool to watch this half imagining Nick Park working away. It's funny because there's kind of two doors to the room, and it's kind of in a throughway, so I could imagine potentially animators, if they wanted to go through to the other sort of side of the studio space. It's hard to explain. There's like a warren of little stop motion rooms. They'd have to pass through his room if you didn't want to go all the way around the building. So I can imagine him, them knocking on the door, going, "Can I come through?" And I've experienced that as well at my university, at Staffordshire University, where people need to sneak through, and they're like, "Sorry, that's the only way through," and you're like, "Okay," and you're mid-shot, and you're just begging them not to bump into any lights or anything. So it's funny to see how kind of homemade this is, which suits the film, and I believe that kind of comes through in the movie. But yeah, we'll make a start. So yeah, this is just a freeze frame on Wallace. You can see it's made with plasticine. I'm not sure if it's the exact same new plast as they use now. Yeah, he's got his kind of signature style, you can see here, which is cool to see. Already the character is pretty much bang on how he is seen now. He's much kind of smoother. There's, I think, less space. I think less plasticine around the eyes, I feel, and he definitely refined the mouth these days, as well as the finger size. There's a little index finger. Look at the size of that index finger. It kind of it's got to make you laugh when you see that stuff now. But yeah, so we'll move on. We'll have a look through it and see what we can see. There's two animators and model makers who are friends of mine who find this their favourite stop motion film. I know one particular who I've worked on Truck Still and a lot of projects. Joey, he loves this one. It's his favourite, and I think I can see why. It's so original, and so they know what they do. Well, Nick Park knows what he's doing with this, and you can see what's going to come. Iconic characters. I believe this was all shot at NFTS. Some of it was shot at obviously Aardman, because he stopped, I think it was the third way through. I can't remember. Look at that, the background painted just purely black, no dry brushing there, what to speak of. Yeah, this feels like it was shot at the NFTS. It seems like an earlier version of the character. He hadn't refined it as much, and it worked obviously because he's kind of further away from the camera, so you couldn't see the differences in the design. No teeth to speak of there. Wonderful, isn't that wonderful? And you can see the paint splodges in the background. He's got a nice light there. It's set the way it is. It's not flickering at all on his face or anything. So they're not. Sometimes you find with tungsten lights they flicker as hell. Flickering a little bit here, but it's all right. I've not done this kind of animation of sketching in stop motion before, so it's really impressive. I'll have to work out how they do it. Just bit by little bit, must be. And he's slowly building up the obviously sawdust underneath, bit by bit. But it's I would be fascinated to know how he injected that. Was it with like a little what's it called? Syringe or something to not bump the character on the set. It's hard to get the lighting right. For my animations, I've often used just kind of, what do you call it, universal lighting, just flat lighting, kind of kids animation lighting for a lot of my stuff, where it's just fairly flat, and I rely on the beautiful paint jobs and the sculpting jobs on the puppets themselves to kind of sell it, whereas he's really going for atmospheric feel here, which it needs to have if it wants to kind of reflect those, I don't know, 1960s, 50s, 70s. It's hard to narrow it down. There's elements of 50s stuff here, the 50s inventor, probably from his childhood watching black and white TV. But you can feel that it could almost be in black and white, the way the light hits the characters. He's definitely being playful with the lighting, and I've got to admire him for that. I'm not sure if this was actually helped. He was helped for this lighting. This was done at Aardman. I suspect this could have been these parts could have been done at Aardman, since the characters seem more refined, and there's fairly advanced lighting stuff going on than there is in the warehouse. Is it the warehouse or the basement? And just wow, there's so much going on in this with the foreground and the background. I'd be impressed if he did all of this himself, which he very well may have done. Nick Park is probably one of the best animators, storytellers, stop motioners in the UK. People will be talking about him probably in considerable time. A nice tracking shot. It's always difficult to get the camera moving if you're not using automated software evenly. You have to have these little... I really enjoy it doing those kind of shots though, when you have the camera mounted and you're slowly moving it bit by bit, and trying to do a really even shot is hard. And that may have been done on 2s, although it could have been done on 1s. Probably was done on 1s to keep it nice and smooth. With a lot of my films, I kind of always play it fairly safe, and then I'll have like 1 or 2 sort of trick shots, which will always be a bit nerve-wracking. But he's, you know, he's not afraid to play with something. Clearly so. This stuff, I actually, honestly, not too sure how they did, because I'm so used to the green screen system now that this is a whole other way of doing it. Which these old guys, obviously Nick Park being one of them, and the others. It's fun to see the little strings between the cards there, keeping it all together. Or are they strings? It might be just glue, the glue, hot glue gun stuff. Whenever I see 2 delicate things, you know, sitting on the set, and the character is moving around at the same time, I know it's just like, as an animator, it's like, oh, geez, you just have to be so careful. Like these shots. It's when you're moving the puppet bit by bit, when you've got this thing which if you touch delicately it will just completely change the position of it. See, every time he moves, it's like every time Gromit moves, it's like, you've got to be so delicate, because if you touch that, I mean, honestly, some shots, some frames, have taken like hours to do, because I accidentally bumped a tiny delicate thing on the set, and I just had to spend hours to get it back together. Happened with the basket, I think one of the baskets, woven baskets in the St. George and the Dragon film. It was just, I spent I think an hour per frame on some of those, easily an hour, maybe an hour and a half on a few, to get it right, just in the right position, because it'll shuffle a little bit if I breathed on it the wrong way. Look at that poor thing. When you have objects on the, as I said before, you can see that flask keeps shuffling around. God, freaking! When you have the character put it down on the set, you have to like pretty much nail it to the set in that scene, because otherwise it's such a pain when you're moving the puppet and you can touch it the wrong way. Nice, 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 nice.
See what you think.
I suppose back then it's nice when you got reflections, because you're kind of getting double the animation for your buck. You have the character interacting with the reflection. Although it can be a pain in After Effects if there's like, you have to remove rigging from reflections and stuff. It's kind of nuts. Nice. And the tongue hangs out there, nice. I wouldn't have bothered with the tongue, but fair enough. You can almost see the camera reflected in the baton. You can see the set, you can see the end of the set. You can see there's something in the corner of the set as well, through the reflection of the baton. Looks like. The smooth puppet there, he's really gone out of his way to keep it nice and clean for that one.
Where you off to now? Oh, leave me to carry the basket.
Nice. I always love those shots. Like, kind of sounds silly, but those close-up shots of the little timer or whatever turning. How do they do that? I can see the whole puppet movement stuff. I know how they do that, but that little timer's like, do they make a separate set, little prop for that, or was it the same thing that you're seeing there? Was it I don't know. That's like magic to me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this sort of look over a grand day out. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Please feel free to also to mention the parts of the film, my reviews that you do like. If you're kind of not into the kind of technical aspect, that's fine, and you prefer me to talk about my experiences watching it, let me know. Take it easy. Bye.